Some things leading to our lives becoming out of balance are called stressors. And there are millions of those. Every day we encounter all kinds of stressors. It may be I'm mad at somebody, it may be a bad grade, all sorts of things. Sometimes they're just very small stressors, and our body and mind and spirit react, but then it recovers fairly quickly. If it's a significant stressor, then it takes the body, mind, and spirit longer to get back to the normal state. If I have a small stress, I may have a little bit of a physical reaction. I may get a little bit breathless. My heart rate may go up a little bit, my blood pressure, and so forth. After a brief period of time, then my body restores itself and I get back to the normal state. If I have a stressor that's really traumatic, a hurricane, a tornado, a loss of some sort, my body may really react to that, and my blood pressure may really shoot up. And so all parts of our body are obviously important, but what we tell ourselves about what happens in life determines our reaction to it. This is stressful, it's not stressful. If I think it's stressful, my mind does not distinguish between what I tell myself is real and whether it's real or not. In other words, a lot of the things that bother us are not reality. And so we do things to ourselves that help us to get out of balance with body, mind, and spirit. Some ways to maintain life balance, there are a number of them. I'll mention a few. One is to relax. If you're doing something and you feel yourself getting stressed, if it's possible in that moment, just relax. Another way is through prayer and meditation, which relaxes the body, and they've done a lot of studies of how the whole system just kind of gets quiet, and all the parts of what it means to be a human kind of relax, and that's really when we enjoy life. One of the ways that I do, since as long as I can remember, and I share with other people, is to look at things humorously. We obviously endure some difficult things in life. In spite of how serious something is, there's always something, at least after the initial shock, that's humorous about it. I remember when my mother died, for example, and I'm the 9th of 10 children, and those of us who were still living gathered at our home for the funeral, and we would sit in a circle and we'd talk about our mother, and we'd cry for a while of the sadnesses that we had in our families. And then for 15, 20 minutes we would just tell outrageous things about my mother. So even in that serious situation, we were able to laugh, and it got rid of some of that stuff. And when life really gets difficult is when we don't use humor, and what happens is when we take negative stuff into our body, it becomes toxic, and it can literally stay in our bodies and begins to affect us physically and emotionally and spiritually. So it's very important to maintain humor and good life balance. Times are tough right now. Folks are hurting economically, and homes are being taken away from people, and so forth. And it's a very difficult time. And so we have to really be careful that we don't get so serious and so stuck in that and lose our sense of humor and perspective on things that life really gets difficult. So a positive outlook on things, and it's not to deny the seriousness of a situation, just to say, okay, this is the way this is what I can do about it, this is what is within my power to do, and things will go better. Stress is not a bad thing. Stress is positive or negative, again, thinking of how we look at it. Something happens to me, well, let me give you an example. I'm on my way to work. I've groomed and I smell good and look good, and I've eaten breakfast and done all the things we're supposed to do. I'm in my car, the sun is shining, God is in His heavens, and all is well. I'm in my lane minding my own business, and all of a sudden somebody goes, "Wah!" Now do I say, God wanted you to have that lane. Please come right on over. I hope you have a wonderful day. Well, maybe for some people, but in my mind, I'm saying, if I had a tank, you would now be in the next county. And so when I look at the big picture and I allow myself to look at it objectively, fairly free of emotion, I can say, you know, that wasn't such a big deal. Now, some things are very important, and they're worth cherishing, and they're worth fighting for, and they're worth values. But most things in life are probably not. So to pick and choose the things that I cherish and give energy to that is really important, and not make a mountain out of a molehill. And so what I do is go check out with a couple of friends. This is going on in my life. Am I kind of coming off the rails here? And they're honest with me, and they will say, no, you seem okay, or yeah, you need to do something. And so the perspective is really important, and I don't always have it. So I use other people to help me gain a perspective, because I can only see certain things about me. I can see things in you that you can see in me, and we can't see it in ourselves. So obviously as a therapist and a counselor through the years, I think it's very valuable to get other people's perspective on what's going on in my life, whether it's a minister, counselor, a good friend that you trust. I guess another thing I would like to say is that living in the now is extremely important. It's important what's happened in the past, it's important what's going to happen in the future. But if we spend too much time in either place, we're not living in the now. And all we have, quite frankly, is right now. And so that helps give me perspective and keep the things in the past from overwhelming me and flooding my life or worrying too much about the future. And so the more I spend in quiet time keeping a perspective on this is what I have in this moment, it helps keep things in focus.